Good evening and welcome. We are live in Bristol. Beautiful night. Sun is just setting here over the field here. I'm Kyle Garlett. Joining me today, Roger Goodgroves, and we've got the Bristol Academy of Sport taking on the French Academy in American football. And these two teams know each other pretty well.
Yeah, the game last October was quite hard fought. France just losing out 7-14. But it was a tight game, and there was no easy winner. Defence for the Bristol side really were what clinched it for me. And a pick six really opened that game up, and then the defence kept the French team off the field most of the time.
And the French team actually making their way right onto the pitch right now. But the Bristol team, we really like the way this quarterback, Calvin Stitt. Calvin Stitt has done a nice job with this team.
Yeah.
One of the things we like about this Bristol team is the way they emulate a college football team in the States. Their offense and their defense is both based on the University of Laverne in Southern California.
Yeah, playbook same as what they run out there.
And in talking with head coach Ben Harrod beforehand, I know Fabio Bayo, a guy that he expects to see a lot of today, a lot of good things today. And it's just a quality team, a quality program.
That's a couple of the keys, I think, for this game. That quarterback has got to really make sure he protects the ball. One of the issues in October's game was the offensive line was a little porous, and he was under a lot of pressure. And sometimes he really ought to have eaten the ball and taken the loss at 5 yards. He was trying to run around too much, losing 15, or throwing away the ball deep in an attempt to get rid of it, and it really left them open occasionally for a pick. Only happened really one or two times, but could have been a lot worse.
Well, we just had the roster up there on the screen. You could see that two of the defensive backs for Bristol are suspended for this game. And I know that that doesn't make the French team too unhappy because there was a pick six
Indeed.
in that game. And this defense actually has now 5 pick sixes on the season. So they're a very opportunistic defense in terms of taking the turnover and turning it into 6 points the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be key to the game. I think ball possession, it's said often that is the key to actually winning the game. If they can avoid the turnovers, they can keep possession of the ball, run the clock down. We're playing 15-minute quarters, so there's no give that they've got to have here. They've got to actually keep control of that clock, keep control of the ball, make sure they actually keep that possession.
Well, both teams have 45 players here, so in terms of depth, you're going to need depth when you're talking about full 15-minute quarters, maybe a little longer than some of these guys are used to playing, but there's obviously plenty of depth throughout the roster to make sure that everybody gets a good amount of playing time.
That's one of the good things about the Bristol side, because they actually train together during the week. Mm-hmm. They're actually used to playing hard and playing long. It's not like some of the other UK teams who only get together once during the week and then once at game time at weekends. These guys train together during the week most days, either in the gym or out on the field. So that's one thing that they have in their advantage. They're actually a team that work together.
And there they are running onto the field right now from the locker room, getting ready to take on the French team here. And we are just a couple of minutes away from kickoff. As you can see, the sun now beginning to set. Beautiful setting, perfect weather for football, clear skies. Nice, brisk temperature, but feels like an evening for American football.
Yeah, absolutely. That sun will be going down, and we've got probably about 20-25 minutes before it sets. So it's going to cause us a little bit of problem in the commentary booth, as it's right in our eyes when we open the blinds. So we're relying on some of the TV feed at the moment to actually see what you guys are seeing.
Both teams will head out to the midfield here for the coin toss.
Yeah, just gathering the captains together now.
And we've got a collection of officials for tonight's game. It's not a crew that has been cobbled together without a little bit of effort.
They're not a crew that work together all the time, no.
But and again, speaking with Coach Harrod beforehand, he was very adamant that it does not matter that the officials came together at the last minute. It is not going to affect his team. It is not something that he thinks is going to change the course of this game one bit.
I don't see the officials having a play on this game, no. The two teams, the last time they played back in October, it was a well-fought game. There were a few little late hits that could have been picked up sooner and got in control. but there was nothing particular. I don't see the officials need to be too much in control of this game for it to run nice and smoothly.
Certainly one of the strengths of this French team is their size, and especially along the defensive line. I know they put a lot of pressure on the Bristol quarterbacks during that game in October.
They've also got an age difference there. They've got some players that are actually a couple of years older than most of the Bristol players, and that age and size, that could play later on, especially with 15-minute quarters.
And there go the captains to midfield for the coin toss.
Okay, just introducing each other now. Be nice next time if the Bristol players could actually take their helmets off for this coin toss.
That's Clement Schaefer, the starting quarterback for the French Academy, out there number 1. And Bristol has won the toss, making the decision what they'll do. Looks like they're going to defer.
Yeah, it looks like they're swapping them around. They're trying to change which way the sun's going to be playing, I think. Yeah, they've deferred, and
So
it's going to be Bristol taking the ball
Bristol will
first.
get the football. They will be running from left to right across your computer monitor. So we get a chance to see Calvin Stitt leading the Bristol offense to start things off.
Now we have your live comments coming in. We have a screen here that we can see a few of them. Our French, unfortunately, is not very good, and so we're going to have to ignore most of the ones that are in French. So my apologies to that, to the people who actually are in France or speaking French on our feed. It's nothing personal.
But football is an international language in and of itself, and surely that translates very well from country to country.
Yes, absolutely. So the French team will be kicking off from the 35-yard line.
Big number 78, Thomas Lebaucher, the kicker for French team. He is an offensive lineman by trade, as you can see the way he's built. Back deep for Bristol, number 21, Tapia Munemo. He had a big game back in October.
He did indeed. He scored the winning touchdown for the Pride. So, and he's very quick. Once he gets to the open space, it's very difficult to bring him down. So that's what the offensive line have got to actually make some room for him this time, because when they did in that game in October, it made a real difference.
Well, it so often is said, this is a game played on a 100-yard field, but it really is decided within a yard either way of the line of scrimmage.
Muff the ball. They muff the ball there.
Free ball. We'll see who gets on it.
It looks
French
like
had
French could
excellent
come up with that
coverage.
one, I think. It's a case of
Still
digging in that
unwrapping.
pile now and seeing who comes up, because I don't think there was a clear recovery. Oh,
Bristol did maintain possession, so a lucky break there.
yeah, very
Could have been
good.
a disastrous way
Yes,
to start the game.
not the way you want to start.
So the Pride offense going right to the line of scrimmage, no huddling. Fakes
Quarterback
it to the
keeper.
motion man, and that's Stitt on the outside. He gets a nice block from his wide receiver. Out inside, or across the 45-yard line, knocked out of bounds at about the 46.
That's a very good first down. That's just what they needed after that muff play on the first drive, on the first kick.
Wasting no time, right up to the line of scrimmage again. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Now Stitt goes into the slot.
They're trying to mix it up. Keep the French on their toes.
Nowhere to go. French defense does a nice job of staying home on that play. That was Menemo. Big loss back to the 39-yard line, 7-yard loss. So 2nd and 17. Step back to pass. He's got Menemo in the flat and just throws it behind him.
He had space to run as well. It was unfortunate that the ball was placed where it was.
So 3rd down and 17.
The southpaw quarterback certainly, I think, will cause the French a few issues there.
And looked like the French team jumped off sides.
Yeah, some very good discipline on the Bristol side. As soon as they see the other team move into the neutral zone, they're actually coming off out of their stance to draw the 5-yard penalty.
You see the defensive lineman and offensive line there exchanging some high fives. These guys know each other well. They've played each other just a few months back, and everybody, that's one of the great feels about a game like this is obviously both sides want to win, but most importantly, both sides want to get better.
Absolutely.
And this is an opportunity for each of these teams to practice against each other in
going long down the left-hand side.
Underthrows
And it looks
his
like he
man.
was pulled back there, but
There is a
can't-
flag.
Yeah,
Here
there's some
comes the
laundry on the
flag.
field.
So often when you see a pass underthrown like that, a pass interference does result.
Yeah, he had position there, and he looked like he was pulled back. And so it should be a 15-yard penalty, as the spot of the infringement was past that distance.
So a big 3rd down conversion there for Bristol.
The referee's just marking it off now.
So they'll mark it at the 41-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Bristol.
Bristol running with a no huddle offense, keeping the French on the toes still.
Well, yards were a challenge when these two teams met in October, so Bristol has to feel good about their opening possession going across midfield, although that play, nowhere to go.
Yeah, good defensive line play there. They pinched down on either side, gave the running back nowhere to go.
2nd and 10. Again, a carry up the middle, nothing doing. Gain of about 2 on that play, so 3rd and 8. And the French might have given another 5-yard bonus there to the offense.
Yeah, showing that discipline. As soon as the defensive lineman came across, they come up out their stance. It's an easy call for the official then.
That's twice Stitt's gotten the defensive line to jump. Obviously, he's got a good cadence going with his calls. So 3rd down and a very makeable 2.
Yeah, swapping out the quarterback over on the wide receiver side again.
Stitt escapes one guy. He's got the 1st down across the 30-yard line, breaks a tackle down at the 27.
Yeah, very good run there. He took his opportunity, dodged underneath the incoming tackler. Inside the 30 now.
Well, he is the engine that makes this offense go, and they are 1st and 10 at the French 27-yard line. Opening possession, 2 minutes gone here in the 1st quarter. The give in the middle, but again, nothing doing between the tackles right now.
Yeah, just a couple of yards up the middle there. But it's important they keep doing that. Try and keep them honest on the defensive line. And we have an injury down on the field. Medical being brought in.
Well, he's popped up right away. That was number 55, Eric Schusted.
Yeah, he's going to have to leave the field for one play as the clock was stopped for him.
Schusted, one of the team captains.
It looks like he's actually got an injury and probably should have stayed down there. He's down on the sideline, so he may not be coming back in very quickly. And that's a Bristol timeout. So it looks like they want to try and get him back in, I suspect, or at least decide what they're going to do up the middle there.
Well, you have to say, though, that these first 2 minutes, you had a near turnover on the opening kickoff, which would have really set the tone in the wrong direction. But since then, Bristol's offense has looked very solid.
Yeah, they've picked it up since then. They obviously had a very good game plan going in. They knew exactly what they wanted to run, and they were straight out, no huddle, keeping the French on their toes, which is good. Coming back to something you said earlier, we talked about the comradeship between the two teams. What happened this morning at the site was that there was trials for next year's Bristol Academy team, and some of the French players were trying out for that as well. So yeah, they've met each other on the field in October, and they've met each other again this morning. So these players are very familiar with each other.
Well, and certainly nobody wants to see an injury, so we'll keep you up to date on where Schusted stands in terms of returning to the field. That's the one thing both teams are united in wanting to make sure everybody leaves tonight healthy.
All right, they're coming back out now, so let's. I don't think he's still on the ground.
Yeah, he's still sat over on the ground about the 32-yard line. Although
he is now up on his feet, which is good news. He's trying to shake off the knee by the look of it. And he's doing some squats, so hopefully he'll be back in the field. It looks like he had a blow to the side of the knee, and that's what took him out.
2nd down and 9. Again, they give in the middle. Again, the French defense is there.
Yeah, they're getting no blocks off the line there to clear out some space for him. It's a very difficult run for those guys up that side.
So another big 3rd down. Twice the French have jumped off sides on 3rd and long. And almost again. He's got a man in the end zone, goes for him, and we may get another flag. No flag.
I didn't see any contact there. He was certainly in front of him, and in high school football, you'd have probably drawn a flag there because he was waving his arms in front of him, but that in itself isn't a foul in the rule set that we're running here.
That would be face guarding in high school.
That's right.
So on 4th down, offense will stay on the field. Too long for a field goal, too short for a punt. Might as well go for it.
Still 9 yards to get on that 1st down, though. But it looks like they're going to throw that one. Man in motion across.
Again, back to that far sideline. And it is caught. We'll see if he's in bounds or not. They're going to say
signaling that he was out of
bounds.
bounds, unfortunately. That was a very good attempt. It looks like they're trying to exploit that far corner. They obviously see no weakness in the French defense there.
So showing off some good hands, but could not keep his feet down. Turnover on downs. The French offense will take over for the first time at their own 27-yard line.
Yeah, it's a very difficult play to officiate for the crew that are out there today. They're running a 4-man crew. Plays to that far deep side. You've got the head linesman who's running the chains. He's got to look right down that sideline to see that call. It's a very difficult call in the deep corner for him to see from there.
It will not surprise any of our viewers to know that you have done your fair share of officiating in your day.
Yes.
Understand the challenges that the job presents. Give up the middle.
Yeah, it's a good 1st down there for the French, straight up the gut.
Fabio Bayo may have saved a touchdown there with a tackle. Big head of steam. 1st down for the French team up to the 36-yard line.
So the light's coming on now as the sun just about setting.
They give number 27.
Oh, good tackle.
And a nice hit there.
They had the blocks set up there, and a very good defensive play there to
Uchenna Obasi on the tackle.
cut that corner out. That would have gone for a long way if that hadn't been pulled down there.
Ubasi had been a defensive end the last time. They moved him back to offensive line specifically back to outside linebacker to specifically defend against the French running game. So paying off right there. Good move by Ben Herod. 2nd down and 11. Now man in motion. And we have whistles and
shutting
flags.
that one down, and there's a far side the headline's been called with the umpire throwing his flag in there too, so looks like it's something on the line. I didn't see it personally.
We will get the call from the officials.
The important thing they're discussing at the moment is what caused the movement. Was it one of the defensive coming into the neutral zone that caused one of the offensive players to move? And they're signaling that it was indeed the offense that actually caused the infraction. So we'll be going back 5 yards.
Once the penalty's marked off, it'll be 2nd down and 16. And again, we have whistles.
Looks like they're querying where the spot of the ball should be. Indeed, they've repositioned the ball.
They had it set up for 2nd down and 11. It's now, it seems like they just moved the ball up a yard when they didn't need to, but good hit there again by the Bristol defenders. That was Cameron Birkinshaw.
Yeah, they made the 5 yards back there, which was good, but still leaves them with the 3rd and 11.
Opportunity here for Bristol to get the football back for their offense and get in pretty decent field position if they can force a punt from inside the French territory. Schaefer back to pass.
He's got a
He's
man
got
open
a man
as well.
open. He's got it inside the 30-yard line, down to the 25. That's number 81, Jean Bedeau.
Yeah, unfortunately Bristol were pegging them back, but it just takes that one long opportunity and suddenly they're on their heels.
So a huge 3rd down play by the French Football Academy. Clement Schaefer finding Bedeau. They've got a 1st down at the Bristol 23-yard line. Good penetration there by Bristol to string that play out. Looks like he may have lost a yard on that. 2nd down and 11 coming up. Schaefer hands off in the middle, but
Going nowhere there.
5 members of the Pride right there to meet him. And so another big 3rd down coming up. 3rd down and 15. Schaefer getting the call in from the sideline. French offense very advanced. They've got coaches up here in the box with us.
Yeah, you might better hear them in the background,
Calling
actually.
down, yeah.
They're just behind us. The offense and defensive coaches are up behind us. So the odd bit of French is not me practicing.
And
Again, on the
Schaefer.
3rd down, they went for the long pass, but this time the quarterback was under a little bit more pressure and unfortunately overthrew that, which is very good for the Bristol situation.
So on fourth down, we'll see if the offense stays on, and it sure looks like they will.
Yeah, don't look like they're running anybody else out there at the moment, although it is certainly achievable field goal range. Although the French kicking game in the first game in October wasn't very good, certainly their punts, they weren't making significant yardage. They ran a very strange offense where they were rolling out before kicking. It was very much sort of rugby style.
So fourth down. Schaefer back to pass. He's got some pressure. Nowhere to go. Looks for it in the end zone. He's got a man, and it is caught for a touchdown.
Yeah, unfortunately Bristol looked like they had that covered, but a very well thrown pass over the head of the defender.
Alexis Bolage makes the catch in the end zone. Boy, from the first minute of that play, the pressure on Schaefer, it looked like the Bristol defense had that one snuffed out, but
that's the unfortunate thing, that they're doing most of it 75% of the time, and then just that occasional play that's getting them in long drives, and that's soul destroying for the defense as well, because they're on top of the game most of the time. They're going for a single point.
Schaefer showing he can throw the ball on the run. The extra point is up, and it is good.
So we're 8 minutes into the game now with 8:05 on the clocks.
French take the 7-0 lead.
Which is what happened in the last game in France in October, so Bristol shouldn't be too despondent. They came back from that one to win 14-7. So they're certainly a team that can put a performance together and won't take too much or lose too much heart from going a score down.
Well, their offense moved the ball well in that first possession, so they've got to feel good about that and know that they can get down on the field and they can knot this thing up here before the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, back deep for Bristol is number 21, Tapuwa Monemo. And doing the kicking duties for France, Thomas Lebaucher. Short man will take it again. Running backwards, has some space.
But he's got an avenue now.
Finds the sideline, cuts it back out across the 35, across the 40-yard line. So a nice return there. Good field position to start with for Bristol here on their second possession of the game. First and 10 from the 43.
Some confusion on the French defense there. I'm not sure what personnel they need on the field.
And again,
there is a flag on the play there.
The high snap kind of throws off some of that timing on the delayed handoff there, and everything kind of fell apart from that point on. We'll see where things stand after the penalty. It was a 4-yard loss on the play.
Yeah, the preliminary indication was offside, but it's been waved off. They had a discussion.
So flag gets picked up. Ball back to the 39-yard line. Second down. And Stitt will take it himself.
And he has the blockers.
Gets about 8 yards on that. Third down and 6 now coming up.
Makes a far more achievable down where they don't have to throw. They have the running game if they need it.
again, the French defensive line jumps off sides. Right now, it's pretty much whatever third down it is, go ahead and tack on 5 yards.
Yeah. Oh no, because a false start against the Bristol team. The quarterback rallying the troops there. He needs to get their head firmly in this game. They can't afford penalties like that.
Yeah, so 3rd and 6 now goes to 3rd and 11, and obviously becomes a passing down.
Yeah, a very bit achievable distance suddenly became very difficult.
Step back to pass. He has a little time. Had it in band, but incomplete, unable to connect to number 29, Nechi Atama.
So Bristol now bringing out the punting unit.
First punt of the evening. Alexis Boulange back deep for the French team. He's the one who caught the touchdown pass.
Have an injury update on the French side of the field. We have Benoit Armand down with treatment on an elbow injury, French number 30.
Boulange calls for the fair catch at the 22-yard line. That's where France will take over. French offense gathering on the sideline for last-minute instructions. Good possession on their first series. March down the field for the game's only score.
It's now 7 minutes and 8 seconds in the first quarter.
Schaefer gives to the middle, but Bristol defense very strong up the middle. Nothing doing, maybe a gain of a yard. In fact, they're marking right back at the line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and 10 coming up for France.
Our reporters down on the sideline was listening in to Coach Herod talk to the Bristol D, and he's saying that they need to put more pressure on the play action and make tackles stick. And he's telling them not to worry, and warns that it could turn into a shootout.
Quick pass from Schaefer is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Ines Cherdeau. So 3rd and 10. Opportunity here for the defense to get a quick stop, get the ball back for their offense.
And this is the down that they struggled with in the last drive, and they really need to shut down the deep receivers for the French.
Two wide receivers out to the right side for Schaefer. One here on the near sideline. Schaefer back to pass, has some pressure, gets rid of it. Overthrows everybody.
The deep safety was there anyway. He's looking disappointed because he wanted that ball to come back.
Lewis Gallagher providing the pressure on the quarterback, making him throw the ball before he was quite ready to do that. Good defensive stand there by Bristol, and they should get the football back in decent field position following this punt. Two men back deep for Bristol. One, however, hanging out by the sideline. That's where the punt goes.
They saw the game film from the last one and saw how much they rolled out and kicked to that side, so they decided to protect it. I'm not sure he gained much by taking that one, though. It was probably best to let it go as it was, unless he was going to take it cleanly and have a run at it.
Yeah, always run risks when you're grabbing hold of bouncing footballs.
Yeah, any irregular shaped ball.
But good field position to start with for Bristol here at the French 43-yard line.
That's what I was saying earlier about the punting game. France do not want to be punting, I don't think, because they certainly haven't got the game for it.
We're going to get a flag here at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go on that carry. We'll check out the penalty. And it's against the Pride. Backs him up 5 yards. As we saw in that last possession, when you commit a silly 5-yard penalty that all of a sudden results in a 3rd down and long, and now you do the same thing here on 1st down. Just makes your job that much harder.
Oh.
Pass underthrown.
Quarterback had receiver there. As I said, he was very fast and he was beating the defense. Unfortunately, the arm of the quarterback couldn't get to him.
Yeah, Minemo had beaten a pair of French defenders right there, but nothing doing on the pass. So 2nd down and 15 coming up. Gives to the motion man, but nothing doing there. The French defense. It's number 91, Jean-Marc Siocan.
His forward progress already stopped there, hence why they were whistling it dead.
Marked him way back. Their own 43-yard line now, so
That's where they start the drive.
3rd down and forever. So they're going to have to change trains to get to that 1st down marker. Stitz got his man, and a tremendous diving
throw
catch.
And diving catch there. The ball was loose for a moment in that play, but I think he secured it before he came down.
Lander Imimbo, full extension, makes the catch. 1st and 10 at the 18. Looks like we also have a roughing the quarterback on the back end of things. So we'll get a half the distance tacked on top of that. But that's Lander Imimbo is going to be talking about that catch for a long time.
Yeah, he's going to have that on his highlight reel.
So Bristol now has 1st and goal, the 9-yard line. Big opportunity here to tie things up. Stitt has some space. Knocked out of bounds near the 5-yard line. One thing I'm reminded that the Pride only go for 2-point conversions, so whatever happens here, we will not be tied.
Indeed, and it did them well at the end of the game last October in that they missed the first one and converted the second. So it works for them.
2nd and goal at the 5. Getting his backfield set. Quick pass to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown.
Low and down towards the receiver's feet. Very difficult for the defender to cover that.
And that is Imimbo making the catch appropriately enough. He certainly earned that touchdown. And now here comes the 2-point conversion and an opportunity for Bristol to take an 8-7 lead. Stitt's going to roll to his left. And nothing doing, nobody
He had
there in
open
the back of the
receivers
end
there.
zone.
Unfortunately, couldn't pick one out on the roll.
So 2-point conversion falls short, but big 3rd down conversion turns into a touchdown, and Bristol's right back in this, 7-6.
4 minutes 52 still to play in the quarter. As you can see on the field, the sun has now dropped down and we have the lights coming into play. Hopefully the picture will improve. If it's a little dark for some people, I'm seeing on the comments. We'll adjust the filters on some of those cameras at the end of the quarter, I suspect.
Yeah, it's kind of that awkward twilight hour right now where you've got some light still, but a lot of dark creeping in. If you're watching the feed and you're within driving distance, why don't you come on down? It's a beautiful night.
It is
Come
indeed,
watch
and
some football.
free entry. What more can you ask for? There's nothing like seeing football in the flesh, hearing those hits on the field. It's a very different experience. Line drive.
That kick is going to go out of bounds.
They'll probably bring that back to the 30 to start the drive for France.
Referees talking to the French captains about their options. And it looks like they are going to
Making
request
the
a
re-kick
re-kick.
by the look of it, which is one of their options, a valid option. If they're looking to get a return, they might want a clean catch on it. They weren't going to gain too much from the end of that particular play.
So Bristol will now have to kick off from their own 30-yard line. France looking to get as good a field position as possible to begin this possession.
And one of the comments on the live feed is that, sorry, we can't drive from Malaga. Well, if I was in Malaga, I probably wouldn't either want to leave.
He's got some space. Still going. Across midfield. And finally brought down. So the decision to have Bristol re-kick was a good one for France. They will take over inside Bristol territory. The Bristol 45-yard line. You know, some of what makes this picture maybe look a little darker too is the fact this is a multi-purpose field, and so the American football markings are all done in black, which isn't what you would typically find.
Indeed. And a very good tackle there.
It's a new quarterback in for France. That's Merlin Barrio.
That was Begg on the defensive line, getting that very excellent tackle.
See, Barrero is a shorter quarterback than Clement Schaefer. Schaefer has that prototypical quarterback look where he just kind of towers over his offensive line. Good defense there by Bristol.
Very good discipline there. He held the outside, he didn't get drawn in, and he had to contain on that play.
3rd and 8 coming up now for France. Barrero nearly lost it and got the handle. Finds his man outside, but good defensive play there. Keeps him well short of the first down. That's number 2, Eddie Onomeda.
Now we see France bring out their punting unit again. So let's see if Bristol line up with a man very close to the sideline, learning from the film they had back in October.
And it sure looks like they're going to do that again.
It does.
In fact, that's the man who just made the tackle now, kind of hanging out at the 20-yard line about 2 feet away from the sideline. This kick is going to go out of bounds, well short of reaching him.
Yeah, looks like around the 28-yard line. They should be spotting that.
It does appear to be where it is, and that's where Bristol will take over. 2:43 to go here in the first quarter. They trail 7-6, but all the momentum is with them right now. The defense has come up with two big stops the last 2 times they've been on the field. Their offense obviously had the big touchdown the last time they were on the field. And if you're Coach Ben Harrod, you got to feel good about the way your team is playing right now.
Yeah, they're looking very disciplined, which is good. They need to make sure that they actually hold up in that middle, and the weight of the French is the problem for them, I see.
Stitz got his man and just overthrows
He
him.
had his hands on the ball there. He just needed to run through it.
Well, that was Amimbo. We know he's capable of laying out for it. Just off his fingertips there. Although any good wide receiver will tell you if they get their hands on it, they should catch it.
Absolutely.
Pitch out, but we do have a flag down. We'll check the marker.
In the position of holding there, typically. Indeed, it is a holding call on Bristol Academy.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 20.
So Bristol falls back to another long 20, 30 yards. So let's look for another play down the left-hand side. Seems to be the order of the day.
They do
have
like
the
that
speed
sideline.
merchant.
Not sure if they've spotted something with that cornerback or if that just happens to be because Stead is left-handed, if that just happens to be his
combination of
preferred
those
place.
two. I think he's going to keep the ball and run. Unfortunately, he had space, but he tripped himself up.
Tackled by the 22-yard line. Sometimes those yard lines just reach up and grab you. So 3rd and 15 coming up. Again, looking for Amimbo, had him. That should have been caught. Instead, it'll be 4th down, and Bristol will bring their punt team on. So as so often the case, a holding penalty completely changes the complexion of a possession, and you end up punting after all of that. So
it makes the defense so much easier when they know that a passing play is the likeliest option.
Low line drive kick takes a Bristol bounce, but good pickup there.
He's got the
He's got
blockers
some
and the
space.
speed.
Good solid tackle, but a good return there for the French team. It was Alexis Boulange. Boulange caught the touchdown pass, and there on that punt return takes it to the 31-yard line. That is where the French team will begin this possession. And they will also begin with Merlin Barrero at quarterback. And good job there by the defense. A lot of misdirection on that, but defense staying home. Gain of a yard for the French team.
A couple of injury reports coming in both sides of the field. We have French, number 27. Not a name on that one just yet. Down with a calf injury.
Hand off up the middle. Drags a few defenders with him.
Alexis Boulange down with a calf injury for the French.
Brings up 3rd down and 4. Bouncing off a couple of tacklers. Still on his feet. He's got the first down inside the 15-yard line. That's also going to be the final play of the first quarter.
And the other injury report was, unfortunately, the defensive back for Bristol, Eddie Unamaid, if I got the correct pronunciation. He's the guy that picked the French off in the fixture back in October and run it back for a pick 6. So it's a big loss. He's down with an ankle injury at the moment. He's going to be arrested for a little while.
So as these two teams swap sidelines, or swap sides of the field here, you've been involved with football in this country for many, many years. What does an academy like this mean to the growth of the sport here for locals here in Bristol, but for the country as a whole?
I think the country as a whole, I think, is what is the important part, because the academy here draws players from all over. It's not just the local team. Well, there is a strong player contingent from the local team, but they're actually drawing players from not just the UK, but also from the mainland European continent. And it's the facilities they've got here that make the difference. They have top-class facilities, not only the field that you see here, but also gym facilities, ice baths, everything that's needed to keep a team in good condition. And they have on-site medical facilities as well. So, that's an important part.
Give in the middle, Bristol defense stays home. Good play there on first down. That's what struck me when I first saw these facilities, is that these facilities would stand out as excellent facilities in the United States. It's not just that they're good. It's not just that it's a good American football facility here in the UK. It's a good American football facility, period.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they're trying to emulate with the academy here. They're trying to set up what would be a good academy in any country.
And because of that, too, they've had a lot of success in sending players across the Atlantic to play university football in the States. Finds his man in the end zone. Good patience there by Barrero. That's number 81, Jean Bedeau, making the catch.
Yeah, he's their number 1 wide receiver. He made space for himself there, and he took the opportunity. And there was some good blocking in the backfield there. Quarterback couldn't see the man coming from the outside, but the man in motion picked him up, gave him the time.
Well, he stayed calm in the pocket, let the play develop in the end zone, and it was a touchdown. Now the extra point. And the kick is up and good.
Leaves the scoreline at 14-6. And we just started the second quarter. 14 minutes, 14 into that second quarter.
Well, and of course, this is this is the French Football Academy as well. They've got a very successful academy there that has turned out a number of good French players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some French people also in the NFL. The most famous played for, or was on the squad for, the New York Giants last year, Anthony Dabble, and he's recently been signed to the Atlanta Falcons for next season's training squad.
Short kick. taken at the 20-yard line. Across the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. That's where Bristol will take over. First possession of the second quarter, trailing 14-6.
And down on the French sideline, they've got the offense together, and they're going through what lessons they can learn from the last drive. But they must be very happy with that last few plays.
Well, they've already outscored themselves from October. Defense there doing a nice job. Just a slow developing play, and this defensive line is simply too good.
Yeah, it's a very big line. It's very difficult to move off the ball.
Loss of 2. Second 12 coming up. Again, the handoff in the middle, and again, nowhere to go. This defensive line playing on the other side of the football for much of this evening. Loss of another yard, so third down and 13 coming up.
Slot receiver moves. He knows that he hangs his head in shame. That's not the sort of discipline they need, especially when they're already in a long situation, which is now going to make it even worse.
Yeah, a hard count grabs his own man off the side, but as a wide receiver, you should just be looking at the football. You shouldn't be listening to the quarterback at all. You just watch that football. When that ball snaps, then you move. So third and 18. They've been playing in third and long most of the evening. Stitt has his man across the middle of the field.
Once again, it's the fast man down the middle.
Well, Manemo is the one who just jumped offside, so he makes up for that and then some with a big third down conversion. So once again, Bristol's offense in good position following a huge third down conversion. High snap. Stitt's going to keep it. Not much space over there. Loss of a couple on the play. Second down and 12.
You can hear the French defense being very vocal now, trying to get behind their team.
Going down that left sideline, overthrows everybody.
Very lucky not to be picked off there. The defense had that play read all the way. Unfortunately, just at the last took his eyes off the ball.
Third and 13 coming up. Seems to be where the Bristol our offense is most comfortable. They might as well just skip first and second down and go right to third down.
Indeed. And it looks like we're probably going to see another play down the left-hand side as the quarterback rolls out. And of course they heard me say it, and they're now gone the other way. Perhaps they should have listened, as they only made a couple of yards.
So fourth down. And looks like the punt team will come on. We're looking to try to pin the French offense deep. Rely on their defense to make a stop.
Reverse sweep potentially on this play.
Bad snap.
Ooh.
Punter does a nice job of getting it, but can't really get rid of ball downed there at just on the other side of midfield. So that play, everybody would like a do-over on that.
Yes, I think that's very true there.
It's one of those you don't even bother to watch in the film session. Everybody just pretends like it didn't happen and we move on.
Yeah, the long snapping game's a very difficult one, and we even have different rules set slightly over in Europe and the rest, outside of Americas, because generally our long snappers can't throw it as far back, so the rule set's slightly different. So you see a punt formation, we don't need to be as far set back for it actually to fall into the rules that give numbering exceptions. He's got a man open.
Completed down to the 20-yard line. You heard from the French coaches up here. They're very pleased with that. Clement Schaefer back in at quarterback for the French team, and he had all kinds of pressure coming right at him, but he stayed tall in the pocket, found his man downfield, and 1st and 10 now for the French team at the 21-yard line.
It was Fabio Bayo making the TD saving tackle on that play.
Schaefer gives to the short man, breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet. He's inside the 5-yard line. And right now the French offense starting to have its way. Just too many possible weapons for them to go at right now. And so 1st and goal inside the 5. Whistles will stop playing. Looks like Bristol has called a timeout. And both sidelines will take an opportunity to get some water here. 10:33 to go in the second quarter.
We just plunged into darkness in the commentary booth there. So just in light so we can actually see the field a little clearer. We're up in the cafe above the field at the moment. And we were struggling to see down onto the field. We don't have the feed that you have on the TVs, unfortunately, so we're just looking out the windows.
Ball at the 3-yard line. So if you're Coach Harry, what are you telling your team right now, recognizing that a touchdown here puts you down by 2 scores?
They've got to keep the discipline. That's the important thing here. They're a well-drilled squad, and they can't throw it away. Even when it's looking like their backs to the wall, they've got to keep what they've been taught in their minds, keep individual assignments, and not trying to do it all themselves. And that's the danger. They try and get too many heroes, and they lose positions, and that's when they can be exposed. There's a block down on the side here.
That is Belange, and he is in for the touchdown. So Alexis Belange with his 2nd score of the game.
That's a play they run very successfully in the first game in October. I would have thought the Bristol Academy would have picked up on that, because the receiver on the outside comes inside, takes up a short position, then blocks down on the corner, giving the space. They should have seen that in the film and learned from that.
Extra point is coming. Movement along the line, so we will back him up 5 and re-kick, it looks like.
That's indeed what's going to happen.
It is interesting to watch how flawlessly these extra points are being pulled off when you consider the struggles that they have on the punting with their punter. Because obviously their place kicker does a fine job on these. And
Yes.
everything seems to run like clockwork in terms of the snap, the hold, and the kick, but punting is an entirely different
Yes.
sensation for this team. That kick is up and also good.
And right out the back of the stadium. Luckily there is someone there to retrieve it. But yes, the punting game is one area that the French need to improve on because they're a very solid team overall. But once they create themselves some problems and leave their defence in a backed up position with good field position for the offence on the other team. And that's always going to put them in a hole.
They now have a 15-point lead following that touchdown and extra point, 21-6. Our score here, still first few minutes of the second quarter. Sun finally fully setting now over the stadium.
And we have a report that wide receiver for Bristol, Landa Imbino, is out with a concussion currently and being evaluated.
Kickoff taken, but down at the 15-yard line. Not much of a return there for Bristol. Well, that is an unfortunate loss because, of course, Imimbo is the one who had that beautiful diving catch that set up the Bristol touchdown. Bristol offense will now take over at their own 15-yard line. Call it the 16, and that's where they will begin 1st and 10.
In fact, they suspect that the concussion may have come from that very good diving catch that he actually made. So unfortunately, he sacrifices his body for the pride.
Quick pass, far sideline is complete for a gain of 4.
It looks like he is unlikely to return, so that is a big loss for the pride.
Handoff, some little space in the middle this time. Ball comes free, but they're going to say
Already
he was
whistled
down.
down.
He was ruled down at the 23-yard line. 3rd down and 3. And these would qualify as a good first couple of plays, and that's sets up a makeable 3rd down.
He had the first down yardage and then came back to try and make some more and just missed out on it as well.
It's like this official here on our near sideline is going to say he did pick it up. And it is a 1st down.
And more injury news coming in on the French defensive line. Number 93, Rafferty Haas, is having a hand strapped up. Looks like a thumb injury.
But that's the difference there. You pick up, 3 or 4 yards on 1st down. You pick up 3 or 4 yards on 2nd down, and all of a sudden you've got a very makeable 3rd down. It allows you to open up your whole playbook.
Looks like a pick here. Oh, and the French coaches behind us are banging on the window at that drop. I don't blame them. Very frustrating for the French team. They had that covered all the way. 2 people there.
Well, and that was by far and away Stitt's worst pass of the evening. He's just threw that one up for grabs, and that should have been intercepted. There is a penalty on the field, and we are going to get holding on the French. So defensive holding.
Yeah, and it looks like number 83, Mbimbo, is going to be out for the game. He's taking his pads off.
So automatic 1st down following that penalty. 1st and 10. Handoff in the middle. finally, the
loose.
Pride finding a little bit of space in the middle of the field. As you said, keep at it, and they have kept at it and starting to get a little bit of yardage there on those inside carries. Gain of 5. So 2nd and 5 coming up. Again, the handoff to the middle. This time the French defense holds.
Looks like could be an injury
Member
down
of
on the
Pride
field
slow
for
getting
the
up.
front. One of the Bristol players down.
That's number 29, Nechiatama.
Yeah, it could be pronounced Netche, I believe, that one.
Everybody will take a knee as he's attended to. So a very important possession here for Bristol. They have an opportunity to kind of quell some of this momentum that's gone in favor of the French, but they've got to do something here before halftime.
Yeah, they need to keep this drive going and make a good drive and take some possession and time, give them some confidence, give some of the players that are out on the sideline a chance to recover and get those back in.
Yeah, you give your defense a break, give your offense some confidence, and obviously you want to shift things on the scoreboard as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not essential they score on this possession, but certainly if they don't and France return, then that is looking like they're going to be in a deep hole to get out of.
Looks like they're working on his knee at the moment.
Rumbling you can hear in the background are intercity trains. We're very close to the train line here in Bristol. The West Coast main line, I think it is.
Bristol Parkway stop just up the road. And still waiting to see what's happening out there. So while they attend to the injured player,
Come back to us in the cafe. Unfortunately,
Yes.
we do have a Starbucks here, but it's not open. So unfortunately, we've been left out as well.
yes. But our French neighbors over there still hard at work calling their offense defensive plays, and of course everybody right now hopeful that the injured player can get up and shake this off.
Yeah, nobody likes to see an injury. It's a hard-fought game, but a fairly fought game. And when players go down, there's usually mutual respect on the field and good medical cover all games in the UK. And as we said earlier, the Bristol Academy have on-site physios and attendants, so we have some of the top medical teams around. And permanent full-time coaches as well, which is another thing we're talking about the academy. And what makes this unique is that they do have full-time coaching, and that is a very rare thing, certainly in the UK. It's something that is expected in the States, but not something you get here all the time.
Yeah, and these, we've talked about this, but this really is such a great feeder for the next level of play. I mean, these are all kids,
Under 19.
under 19. They come in here, as mid-teenagers. Some of them maybe aren't that very, aren't aren't very experienced with the sport, but by the time they leave here, they have an excellent foundation that allows them then to go on to the next level and really, kind of blossom in whatever aspect of football they
Absolutely, and they've had 20 players coming out of the academy going on to play in the US in the college system over there, which sets them up for a good opportunity for NFL in the future. It's not going to come overnight. This program's been around for a few years, and they are getting the players out over there into the college system. They've got good contacts, as we mentioned, Laverne earlier, and the playbook that's run over here, so that when the players actually go into that system, they're familiar with what's expected, both in terms of the discipline and also the workout routine. They're practicing every day. This is not a routine that happens just once a week, as we said. They're actually going out there and they're actually being in the gym, on the field, in the film room, and they're actually learning each day of the week. And they've got to fit that in with their actual studies. They have to have 95% attendance rate before they can actually get out onto the field, and they must be up to speed with all their work as well.
Well, and even if obviously the NFL is the ultimate, but there are when you think about the number of colleges in the United States that play football, there are over 500 places you can go play. There's only about 100 Division I schools, but you get down into these extra levels. The level where University of Laverne is, there's lots of opportunities to go over there and play, get an education, further your playing career, and a lot of these guys, because they are newer to the sport, maybe are late bloomers, and so they may not garner the attention of a Division I school when they're 18, 19 years old, but by that time they're 22, 23, and have played in a full system, then all of a sudden they're getting tryouts that they wouldn't have gotten earlier.
I'm hearing clapping from the field, which is actually good news because the player's up on his feet. Well, only 1 foot at the moment. He's been held off by the coaching staff, but he is leaving the field under his own steam, which is always good to see. But as you were saying about the college system over in the States, what we're not used to is actually that the colleges in the States actually have greater attendance than NFL games. So it's a very, very big thing to get into the college system at all. Now back to the field.
Just a quick pass, incomplete. That should have been caught. Stephen Collins should have had that, but dropped that. So on fourth down, the Pride will go ahead and punt. Timeout on the field. So not shaping up to be the fastest football game we've ever seen. It is already 10 after 6, and we still are only about not quite halfway through the second quarter.
Indeed. Long quarters and injuries, add those together, then you can have a long-running game. And it's one of the things the UK public, unfortunately, finds difficult with American football. And certainly in the States, when you're going to TV timeouts, then it can get disillusioning for the UK audience.
Well, college football, which of course are the rules that we play by here, tend to be longer football games than the NFL because of the clock stoppages at each first down. There's just far more stoppages versus the NFL, which has addressed the length of football games and the rules changes in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get to the field and we'll come back to that one in a moment. Low line drive on the punt, but picked up well.
Bellage.
He's out of bounds, short of the 40-yard line.
So a big important defensive possession here for Bristol. They do not want to go down by 3 touchdowns here in the second quarter. At that point, things start to look like they could become insurmountable. So defense needing a stop.
Yeah, key drive here for Bristol.
Matt Schaefer in at quarterback for the French team.
They have 45-man squads to answer one of the live chat questions.
Gain of a couple in the middle of the field there. Defense does a nice job staying home. 2nd down and 9 coming up for France.
The news coming in about the injury that stopped the game a minute ago is it looks like a sprain. It's relatively good news, although sometimes sprains can be worse than breaks, and recovery can be longer, as I know, as my knee is out at the moment with one of them.
Through the hands of the receiver. With Schaefer.
Players are trying to really encourage him there. He knew he should have had that. It was a well-run and well-executed play, and he had it right in his hands.
Now Schaefer showed some nice zip on the football there in that rollout. He's got a nice arm on him. 3rd down and 9. So Bristol one play away from getting that defensive stop they needed. Schaefer back to pass.
Hanging up there.
Nothing doing. Finds a man on the sideline, but
one of the defensive linemen, I think.
He's going to be begging
he's got
the
better
coach.
hands.
He's gonna tell the
that's,
coach he needs to get in there and play some offense.
Rafferty Hayes.
So 4th down and 9. The French punt team is on. And again, the Pride with their unique punt return formation.
Yeah, Cameron Birkinshaw there on the sideline. They learned that from the film.
And that one not
should be out around the 45-yard line.
The excellent field
looks like
position.
they're marking it further upfield than that. Looks like a good spot for Bristol there, near to the half. But the way they're marking at the moment is 4 yards into the French half.
Yes, a 47-yard line there on the French side of the field. So an opportunity once again for Bristol's offense to play with a short field and show some life. Hand off to the motion man, gets a block, but there's nowhere to go. This is a very active defensive line, and they once again are there to make the play in the backfield.
And we're halfway through the 2nd quarter. Clock should be running as we had a completed pass and a run play there, but looks like the clock's being held at the moment. We'll try and get word down onto the field to the clock operator.
Stick goes deep, overthrows everybody.
Just had a word with the clock operator. 6 minutes 30. 6 minutes 30 and a half. Not what's showing on the scoreboard at 7:49.
Well, as is usually the case, the official time is being kept on the field by officials, and the clock is mostly just for our enjoyment.
Yeah, hearing from our sideline reporter that Coach Herod is much happier with the defense on that drive, which is very understandable, holding them there on an important time. He's telling him to keep focus on the running back.
3rd down now, 3rd and 13. Instead again goes deep, and again he overthrows his man. Good coverage on the play by the French defender. So 4th down, and Bristol will punt the football. So the teams exchanging 3 plays and punts.
I'd look here to see Bristol trying to pull them offside to get an extra few yards out of it. They're very disciplined in that snap routine. There seems to be confusion about what people should be on the field, which doesn't help.
And we're going to get a delay penalty. So 5 yards will push him back out across midfield.
Yeah, the on-field clock, which is still holding at 7:49, is not taking instructions from the clock operator. So we're definitely keeping the clock in the officials' hands.
Good high punt this time. Takes a Bristol bounce.
And lots of shouting to keep away from those balls from the French team. Don't want anybody accidentally touching them, and Bristol having a chance to recover that ball and possession. If the French team don't touch the ball, then wherever it stops or it gets picked up by the Bristol team, that's when the clock stops and possession changes.
Down at the 27-yard line, that's where France will take over on this possession.
And we're hearing that Netchi is going to be taken to hospital for a scan on his left ankle. Netchi out for the game by the look of it.
Completed pass across the middle. It's Merlin Barrero back in at quarterback for France. Now they're going to say incomplete pass. Kind of a late call on that, but as it is, 2nd down and 10.
Just communicating to the on-field timekeeper to try and get some feedback in terms of what the actual game clock is, and I'll feeding me those times so that we can keep you up to speed.
Two wide receivers out to Barrero's left. He's back to pass. Goes downfield. He's got a man. Through his hands. That was Hassan Dosso.
French team struggling with some hands practice here. They really have some balls that they should have converted. Should have been TDs on a couple of plays. And unfortunately, the receivers just cannot hang on to those balls. And it's not wet. It's perfect conditions for football. There really is no excuse other than the concentration levels.
You've got that interception too that was dropped. I mean, they're going to go work on some hand drills. My guess is when they first come back to France.
Absolutely.
Yeah, long for the days of Lester Hayes and Stickham all over.
All over, yeah, absolutely.
Some space
sweep round to the
on
right
this near
hand side.
That's Belange on the carry. He's near 1st down.
For those not as old as the commentary team, Stickham's now illegal to be used. So they no longer allow people to have such artificial ways of holding onto the ball so easily.
If you don't know who Lester Hayes is, go on and Google him right now so you can see a picture of him head to toe in Stickham. If the football hit him in the helmet, he wouldn't even need to have his hands up there. He'd get an interception. Every inch of him was covered in Stickham.
An official timeout being called on the field. And they're going to have a measurement, I think, by the look of that. And bring the chain crew in from the far side.
Will be a 4th down if he's short. course, nowadays, if you want an extra grip on the football, you just let a little air out, right?
Only from the northeast of the US, I think that is. Local rules in play there. Allegedly.
I say that for the Patriots fans listening and watching because, well, you guys just won a Super Bowl, so you can take a little heat.
Absolutely. And it is fourth down, short, about a foot. In that Super Bowl victory, the Patriots certainly deserved to win, or the other team threw it away, depending on which side of the ball that you're on.
I think both things happened at the same time. I think the Falcons blew it and the Patriots went out and took it.
Yeah.
If ever there were two competing storylines that both were true, it was in this Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard yesterday that the Super Bowl halftime show has been the most watched of ever Super Bowl halftime shows. That was the unique Lady Gaga.
Yeah, diving off the roof of the dome there in Houston.
Although it was recorded in two separate things. The feed of her initially up there and the jump were two separate cuts. And they had drones which were pre-recorded because they couldn't have had the drones within the distance from the stadium because it would actually break the regulations.
Right.
But ignoring those minor Hollywood effects.
So another kick out of bounds.
41-yard line looks like where they're coming out to. I'm going to get a time check for you. And us, because we don't know either.
Well, we are here in the final few minutes of the second quarter. Bristol would like to get something more on the scoreboard before we go into halftime, but certainly if they can continue to keep France off the scoreboard, that is also a victory. Step back to pass. Has his man. Oh, and it is
talking
dropped.
About hands.
And it is catching whatever's out there. The ailment that is causing all these drops is now on both sides of the ball. And Manemo, the way he runs, you have to figure if he hauls that one in, he might take that one
would be gone
all the way to the house.
You wouldn't be catching him.
Second down and 10 now. Quick pass, complete on the far sideline, gain of 6 yards.
6, yeah.
When they've had some success with some of those quick patterns like that, certainly at high percentage. Another one.
Yeah, better hands this time.
And he's
looks like it's going to be marked short.
Yeah, just short of the marker, it looks like. Bring up fourth down and inches.
They're not going to measure it this time, though. So look for Bristol to try and draw the defence off here.
And not sure if he got it with that second effort or not.
Maybe.
The French team certainly doesn't think he did.
They're saying turnover on downs on the line judge side.
The scoreboard now is completely off as they are working on getting that one working for us. In the meantime, it is 21-6. France has just taken the football back on a turnover on downs. Big fourth down stop there by the French defense. This defensive line has been good all game long, and they came up big on that play.
I'm hearing there's about 4 minutes left in the game. Oh, sorry, in the half. Sorry. It just feels like a long half.
And the handoff in the middle, nowhere to go. That Bristol defensive line also playing well today. Gain of 2 on the play, so 2nd down and 8.
And seeing that the French offensive lineman, Christopher Fortinand, it looks like he's limping a little bit, so he may be out for a little while.
Barrow's handoff again in the middle. Slips one tackle, but cannot get past the second one. Inside the 45-yard line, they'll mark him at the 43. Third and 4 coming up. That is a first down carry for the French team. Not much else beyond that, but they do move the chains and will keep possession of the football. Inside the Bristol 40, the 38-yard line is where they'll mark it. Now he's at the 37 as they get the communication ironed out. 1st and 10 for France.
To answer the online question, 21-6 is the score to the French.
Another handoff in the middle, but nowhere to go this time.
Flag
We've
on
got
the
a
play.
flag coming in. That's usually in the place of holding, and that is what the call is. So that'll move the French back 10 yards.
And about 3:30 in the half. 3:30 to go in the half.
Moves the ball back to the 47-yard line. 1st and 20 now for France. Good pressure, and down goes Barrero. That's number 55, Eric Schusted. He'd been playing a lot in the backfield and finally gets the quarterback for the sack. Well, for some of the woes that the Bristol offense has had, certainly the defense playing strong here in the second half of this second quarter. They've, since going down by 15, the defense has
they've
really tightened up.
Yeah.
And trying to time a blitz. We'll see what happens. False start. Saw that blitz coming. Somebody on the offensive line got a little twitchy.
The blitz had just stopped in time. But unfortunately, for the French, they reacted.
So the French now back to their own 40-yard line. They have to get to the Bristol 27 for a first down.
It's a long way.
Gain of 5 on that play.
I'm hearing 1:58 on the clock. I haven't seen an official 2-minute timeout, but apparently it was there. Must have been reading the live comments on the feed.
So we're inside 2 minutes now, and the French team has 3rd down and what we would say where I grew up, 3rd down and a country mile.
With 2 minutes remaining, and look here for Bristol to control the clock, because they need to make sure they can serve time if they are going to have a drive before the half. So the clock will still be running. It'd be a good time to take a timeout now.
You know, they've used a couple timeouts. Not sure exactly how many timeouts they have left. French team has not been getting a lot of distance on these punts, so one would think that Bristol will get the football in decent field position in terms of trying to make something happen right before halftime.
The clock will stop at the end of this play regardless of what happens.
And that is one of their better punts. Does go out of bounds, but it won't be a short field for Bristol. They're going to say out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Closing seconds here of the first half, 21-6, your score in favor of the French team. French Academy making the trip across the channel to take on the Bristol Academy. Stitt goes deep and overthrows the defender.
Yeah, the defenders again in great position, knowing what's coming up with the time running out. They had the play covered. Unfortunately, couldn't bring it in.
Second down. And again, over the middle. Too high for everybody.
Yes, luckily too high for everybody. It's a very optimistic throw there. Even with their fast receivers, that was going to be a challenge.
And I think that would have missed on most NBA players.
Yes.
So third down now for the Pride.
You see on the sideline the French aren't very happy with their last performance on the last drive. Trying to rally around before the half.
And
nowhere
to go.
With the clock running.
Nobody will try to stop the clock. So it could be that the French are content to go in. 21-6. Now we're going to... That is the end of the half. So everybody content to go in at 21-6, and that is where things stand after 2 quarters of play here in Bristol. Before we take our halftime break, a quick thought on that first half?
Yeah, the first half, a game of halves is a cliche, isn't it? In this half, what we had was some very important third down plays for Bristol. Really kept them in the game, and they could have been a lot further behind if it wasn't for those plays. Their receivers have got a lot of speed. They can outrun the French defense. The quarterback on the roll is very dangerous, but they're not actually getting the space in the middle to block the linemen and to get some clear runs, and so they're relying on those passes. Now in the final closing stages, we're actually getting in a position where the French are expecting it, and they're now deeper and keeping deeper than the Bristol wide receivers, and we could see some picks, and that is the danger they run into, and they're trying to chase the game.
That is where we stand after 2 quarters of play. French leading 21-6. Roger and I will be back just a few moments before the start of the second half, and we'll see you then.
Join us soon.
Wilson are currently trailing at the moment. French Academy. Speaking to Coach Herod at the half, the key word for him was focus. He said that when they've been focused, they've been really good, especially on defense. But when they haven't, that's when the mistakes have slipped in. They haven't been executing on offense, and the safeties, when they've lacked focus, that's when the French have been able to make big plays and score.
Yeah, I think I spoke just before the half, and they were saying that a lot of the guys are trying to do as much as they can to sort of get their names on the roster because they've got the European Championships coming up. I mean, the coach is overall happy with the performance, but he is a little bit suspect of the fact that they've given him so many penalties. So I think he's going to be keeping an eye on that and trying to sort of drill into the guys that they don't want to be making mistakes in the second half.
Yeah, also talking to Filton head coach about some of the injuries which they've had. They've had quite a few in the first half, and he said they've really hurt them. Not necessarily on offense or defense, but on special teams. And he says that the special teams unit is really suffering without those guys.
Yeah, okay. I think we're just about ready to kick off, so thank you.
So we're back here for the second half, getting ready for the second half kickoff, which actually just happened. It was an onside kick, but
sneaky one.
Yes, as we get ourselves set here for the second half, 21-6.
Yep.
French team.
Just other news before we get kicked off in this game. The other game that's going on today, Leeds versus Kiel. The current score, and I was told, was 40 points to Leeds, 20 to Kiel into the second half. And we're back to the field in Bristol.
And Schaefer in at quarterback. Ball comes free on the handoff. Running back never had it. Bristol falls on top of it. So big turnover here to start the half. First play of the third quarter. No handle on that, and Bristol offense now has an opportunity to take advantage. You know, it was the near turnover to start the first half, but Bristol then ended up driving down the field. And
I hope they can replicate that one, because that was definitely a changeover in the game that took Bristol into the lead and took Bristol down the field and looked like they were actually going to end up a great result. And that was a 6-yard gain down on the left-hand side there.
Quick, high percentage pass there on the far sideline, and so many times they've gone downfield, but they've had a hard time with that.
Well, they've learned from that. They can see that that's what they're doing. They're going down the left-hand side deep, so they're covering 2 men deep and on that long play, and really there's no chance of completing that where it is. So they can keep running that down and then dump it off short and left, and there will be some empty space down there to exploit.
A false start's going to wipe out most of that gain, so instead of second down and 4, they're going to get second down and 9. But when they've gone to that short passing game, they've found a lot of success.
Yeah, absolutely, and they need to mix it up, because the French team are reading what's going on and shutting them down at the moment. They really need to turn that around.
And tripped up after a couple of yards in the middle.
But good to see them making some space up the middle. Before, they were having difficulty moving the defensive line out the way.
3rd down and 5 coming up. He's going to be short of the first down.
Yeah, probably a couple of yards short there of the first down. Yeah, it's certainly what's been indicated by the line judge on this side.
He's going to mark it at the 37. They need to get just inside the 36 for a first down. So on 4th down, the offense stays on the field. 4th and a long 1. And Stitt's going to keep it himself, keep it right up the middle. He's got the first down.
Yeah.
Good surge to the 35. Moves the chains, and so Bristol's offense on its first possession of the half picks up its first down, and now moving into position where they can make some difference on the scoreboard and get back in this thing. Down 21-6 here just in the opening moments of the third quarter of play. Quick pass again on that far sideline.
Another 5-yard gain, but a solid 5 yards. If they can keep doing that, they're going to move down the field. And that's what they need to do. Get a drive going, get some confidence.
What was killing them early were the third down and 13s.
Yeah, they were really putting themselves in a hole. Unfortunately, they were making mistakes and driving themselves back rather than the other team driving them back.
High snap, Stitt pulls it down. Maybe picks up a yard on the scramble to the far sideline.
He did well just to get back to the line of scrimmage there.
But 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, those are makeable downs. Far more makeable than 3rd and 15 that they were getting early in the game. So here we are, 3rd down and 6. They need to get to the 25 for a first down. And overthrows his man.
He was so tight to the sideline there, he had very little room to run.
Well, and credit to the French secondary. They've done a nice job of shutting down those long pass plays along the sideline.
Yeah, they've got the measure of that one now, and that's what Bristol need to change because it's not working.
So 4th down. And again, going deep down that sideline, and once again, nothing doing. And
double coverage down there. Yeah, that really long throw isn't going to work. A hitch pattern or something like that could throw defense off. They're expecting the deep ball with the fast man, and they really need to just change it up a little because the defenses are all over that now.
So turnover on downs. The French team will take over at their own 31-yard line. Clement Schaefer will come out as the quarterback to start the third quarter. He got the scoring started off when he hit number 27, Alexis Belange, for a 26-yard touchdown pass in that first quarter. Handoff is to Belange, and he's got a little space in the middle, but shuts down after a gain of 5. Schaefer getting his call from the sideline. And he just looks like a quarterback standing back there, just a head taller than everybody else, can really see the field well.
Looks like the ball just moved and just been replaced.
Schaefer's pass incomplete. Eddie Onamade was the defender on the play. He looked like he had the best shot at it. 3rd and 5. Change at running back for French, and now they're going to send the guy back in after he just came out.
On the French side, which personnel they've got.
And they will now have to use a timeout.
The on-field timekeeping that we had in the first half is needs to be turned off. Unfortunately, the battery's gone in the remote, and so the game clock will be being kept by the line judge on the near side. And we'll try and keep you updated on what's happening with the time.
We talked a little bit about the timing differences between what most fans might be familiar with when watching the NFL games versus this the game here today, which would be under international rules, and of course the game throughout Britain, which is played under what would be the NCAA rules.
A variation of, yes. NCAA is the college rule system. There is the rule set that over here is used is the IFAF rules, which is the International Federation of American Football. Timeout's coming to an end.
Third and 5. And that is Alexis Boulange, and he is going to have a first down for the French.
Yeah. Tackled by Bayo. In terms of the rule set, there isn't too many differences between the NCAA and IFAF. I mentioned some earlier, like the distance that fourth down punting situation will be recognised, and then there's timing variations between the NCAA or IFAF rules and what people would experience in the NFL.
Again, it's Boulange. He's got a little space on that sideline, or excuse me, on the far side there. Again, moves the chains, and he's just kind of gets lost. It's a shorter guy, gets lost in amongst the trees, and all of a sudden darts out the other end at full speed. And it's like that is Boulange. It's down right now.
Yeah, other than an injury that would stop in the clock anyway, this would have been an example of a difference in the timing rules in the NFL to the IFAF rules, in that as soon as there is a first down, the clock is stopped while the chains are reset. In the NFL, the clock keeps running.
So while Boulange gets worked on behind us, we also were talking earlier about the way the sport has grown here in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is sport in the UK played from American football at all levels, and the growth of the sport has been tremendous. And the women's game has grown 80% just in the last year. The seniors are 18, 19%, and the under 17s, I think I have the stats, 38% growth there in that. And good to see the players up on his feet and jogging off the field, so that's good to see. We'll go back to the game.
I suspect we'll see Boulange then back on the field at some point.
Yeah, you have to come out for the play because the clock was stopped for the injury, so he's going to have to come out for at least a play, and he's then getting treatment on the sideline. Looks like his arm is the issue there, or arm or shoulder.
1st and 10 for France. Ball at the 44-yard line. And breaks a tackle, but Bristol's defense stays home and makes the play in the backfield.
Yeah, dragged down by Vangelis there, offensive lineman.
Loss of 6 on that, so 2nd down and 16 coming up for France. Ball now back at midfield. And he's got his man just camped out waiting for it. Again, that's number 81, Jean Badeau. And a big gain downfield.
Yeah, a lot of misdirection there from the French, drawing the Bristol team into the play, left the player open deep.
Well, and for just being a teenager, Schaefer's got a nice big arm on him.
Yeah, when he has the time, he's certainly got the distance.
So France has it 1st down inside the 15-yard line.
Schaefer gives in the middle, defensive line. Ball is free, and they're going to say Bristol fell on it.
Yeah, that certainly looks like
So
way.
another third quarter fumble turnover here for the Bristol defense. So opportunistic, gives the football back to their offense.
And we're at that timeout for the injury. We're about 11 minutes 30 into the third quarter.
Going deep, he's got his man, he's got it. Out across midfield, big offensive play, and just like that, they are in French territory. Well, they have gone to that well and gone to that well, and
Keep going.
finally they got some life out of it.
Yeah, in the first half that was working very well for them. Then the French had it covered. They went to some shorter passes and they've gone back to the long. And that's the way to mix it up, and that's the way to get the result.
And Stitt's going to keep this one himself. Picks up a couple of yards.
At the changeover of possession, the time on the clock was 9 minutes 45.
Second down and 9. Ball just inside the French 41-yard line. Quick pass from Stitt. Big tall receiver.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter
Down
how
to
far backwards he
35.
goes there, they already ruled forward progress spot and a gain of about 7 yards.
That's Stephen Collins making the catch. Third down and 3. Good pass, and he has given up the first down.
Yeah, he
Gets it
had the
back
first down
now.
yardage and then he came back to it, luckily.
Well, one thing the coach is going to, you got to know where you are on the field. They're going to
Yeah.
talk to him about that. Once
Yeah,
you've got
absolutely.
that first down,
You're looking to take it all the way. That's the trouble. He's one of those type of runners.
it was Daniel
Once he's got the
Ade
ball.
making the catch. So it is a first down for Bristol at the 30-yard line. And this one throws behind him.
It's a dangerous play there. He was sitting up too long. The defence luckily didn't react too quickly to it, because that was very able to be picked off if they were quicker to react to the ball.
And that one dropped.
He thought about the run before he'd actually secured the ball there, unfortunately. That's so often the case that you end up dropping it. Far better to get the 5-6 yards and not try and go for the hero TD.
Yeah, Stephen McCluskey, the intended receiver on that. So third down and 10 now. Of course, this is 4-down territory, so anything positive here will be good. Looks across the middle, nothing doing. And we're
Very
gonna get
late
a
flag
late
coming in.
penalty coming in.
And we say late, and considered would be a better term for it. If the line judge has seen something and he wants to throw the flag, it's better that he thinks about what he saw and make sure he gets it in his mind before he throws the flag. Can't really complain at that.
Well, hard to know if it was, we'll see what the call is here, but it may have been because there was obviously some activity continuing after the ball was well past the play. We'll see what that call is, but now they're going to pick up the flag.
Yeah, they're waving
so-
that flag off.
So 4th and 10. It's a couple times now we've seen penalties picked up, which you'd like to see when if it's been determined that no, the official throwing the flag made a mistake. Go ahead and correct it before you compound the mistake.
Absolutely. There's nothing worse than trying to enforce something that's not really there. And the key thing there is discussion. They went in, they talked about it, they talked about what they saw, and different people have a different view from different angles. And you combine those things together, there's nothing wrong with then calling that flag off.
That fourth down pass was incomplete, so turnover on downs back to the French offense. They will have it 1st and 10 at their own 30. But you know, no one's going to complain if an official makes a mistake by picking up a flag. But it's the other way around, and you can hear complaints for a long time.
In an ideal game, people wouldn't notice the officials. It should be about the players on the field.
Barrero is in at quarterback. And
Some misdirection
he's
again.
got his man.
Good 20-yard gain there.
They're going to blow it dead near midfield. Little extra shoving going on. Two sides are quickly separated. It's an emotional game, and sometimes the emotions get the better of you.
French first down just inside the half.
Yeah, 21 yards on that gain.
About 8 minutes to go in the quarter.
Barrero, the handoff in the middle. He's got a little space, flips a tackle on the near sideline now. Gets knocked down inside the 30-yard line, but a big gain for the French offense.
And there's a flag coming late on the play, and another one. Bayo there just missed a tackle that would have saved another 15 yards on that. Unfortunately, let him slip out of his grasp.
We'll see what the markers are, but it's possible they, well after the play, could be some kind of taunting or dead ball. And we are going to get personal foul on the offense. So somebody must have come in with a late block.
So that flag's been marched off 15 yards further back. Should still be a first down and 10 yards.
That pushes the ball back across the 45-yard line. Again, a handoff in the middle, and again, lots of space. That is a first down run for the French.
They made that 15 yards back.
First and 10. Near sideline now. Good pursuit there by the Bristol defense.
The French again running that block down on the corner. This time not very good block. Left the man in the open. Slowed the run around and allowed his teammates to come in and finish.
Loss of a yard, second down and 11.
About 7 minutes to go in the quarter.
Pass just a bit out of the reach of his wide receiver. So third down and 11 coming up.
And this is where Bristol really need to finish this drive off now. Stop the French on this drive, get them to do a short punt, take over the ball and try and drive to get a score, because that's what they need at this point in the game.
And he is back to pass. A little high, juggling.
Good second
Did he
effort
make the
there from the
catch?
receiver. But he is
Officials
short.
say he did make the
He
catch.
did make the catch, but he is short of the first down.
It'll bring up 4th down and 3. Offense stays on the field.
Watch for the block on the right-hand side.
And
Looks like he's short, and there is a
short.
flag
Here comes
coming
the
in after.
flag. That's probably going to be a holding penalty, but it will not matter because he did not get the first down.
Certainly should decline that one if it is, and they are.
It is declined. Turnover back over to the Bristol offense. Defense holds on 4th down. Really, there have been a couple of individual breakdowns, but the defense for Bristol has played a very solid football game.
Yeah, it's getting much better in that second half. I think the coach probably had a good talking to in the half-time and the beginning of the third quarter, and it really seems to be making a difference.
Well, we saw some missed tackles early on. We're seeing a lot fewer of those now.
Yeah, there's a couple that are slipping through, but they're much better. 5 minutes 30 in the half, in the quarter, I'm being told.
And just beyond the reach of his tight end. 2nd down coming up. And that was Daniel Ade, the intended receiver.
And off around the left-hand side, and a good 8-9 yard gain now.
Near that first down, one of the better runs of the day.
Bristol
Third
going
down
once
and
again with
1.
no huddle.
And Ade has the first down.
Good defensive play there from the French. The second player coming in, trying to rip the ball out, and his teammate was holding the player up. But we do have a first down.
Chains have moved, ball is spotted. Again, short pass, complete here on the near sideline.
And the Bristol side hurry up now, trying to get the ball back in, keep the French on their toes. Or as it stands at the moment on their heels.
Stitt's going to take it himself. Goes ahead and steps out of bounds instead of taking the extra hit, picks up the first down. Nice job of finding the space. He wanted to come back on that near side quick pass again, but defense was there, so he just made something happen with his feet.
Yeah, the wide receiver could have helped him out there. He was well ahead of him, had blockers or blocks that he could have done instead, run further downfield to try and get the block in. He could have helped himself there and got a quicker block in and got some yardage for the quarterback.
Not much doing on that.
The Bristol team obviously happy with their performance at the moment. Wanting to get the ball back in quickly and get the next play on.
Gain of 2, so 2nd and 8.
And we're under 4 minutes in the quarter.
Ball just inside midfield now. Quarterback keeper.
Not fooling the French though. A reminder on the score: Bristol 6, France 21.
So 3rd and 7 coming up. Stills back to pass. And that is intercepted. Well, he's flirted with that for a while now in terms of trying to force that pass in with multiple defenders back there, and finally he got burned.
Yeah, the quarterback didn't have the arm to get deeper, and they had 2 men deep covering it. It was only a matter of time before that happened. About 3 minutes in the quarter now.
Number 16, Amir Kalani, on the interception. So the French offense retakes the football at their own 20-yard line.
You might hear us mentioning Bristol. You also hear us mentioning Pride. And you might also hear us mention SGS. In a minute, I'll explain the differences between those terminologies. All relate to Bristol.
Back to pass. First down. Jean Badeau. Good move after making that catch. And he's been their go-to guy.
Yeah, this is a program that is often known as Filton College, but it's the South Gloucestershire and Stroud College, SGS.
Handoff in the middle. Still going, still pushing forward. Out to the 40-yard line.
Well, we're down to about 2 minutes in the quarter.
Now they'll mark it at the 39, so he's going to be looking at a 3rd down or 2nd down and 3. Took a 7-yard gain. Again, the handoff the middle, slipping a couple of tackles. He's got all kinds of space. Finally dragged down, not until he's inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Bayo being a bit shy of the tackle there. He was waiting for his teammate to take him down, but he really needs to help out there and take him down sooner.
Well, the French offensive line looks like they're starting to wear down this Bristol defense.
Yeah, that was the weight advantages that we mentioned earlier, I think now come into play. Good cut there.
Inside the 35 before he's tackled there. But in talking about, we're talking about these games that go along like this. It's much easier, however, to be the blocker versus the blockee.
Yes, indeed.
It is far more taxing on the defensive line to continually be getting hit than it is for the offensive line.
And the offense know where they're going each time. The defense are playing a reactive game.
2nd down and 7.
Watch for the block coming on the left-hand side and sweep round.
Nowhere to go. Schusted trying to rip for that football, hoping for a 3rd fumble in the quarter. Barrero over on the sideline getting the instructions from his coach. He's now back in the huddle with the French. 3rd down and 14.
End of the quarter.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. It remains 21-6 after a scoreless 3rd quarter. Good job by the Bristol defense. Forced a couple of turnovers. It gave their offense an opportunity, but the offense just wasn't able to cash in on that. We now go into the 4th quarter down 15 points.
Yeah, the trouble is they're chasing the game now, and it's a lot easier for the French to react to what Bristol are doing, which is getting a little predictable in terms of the long ball deep down the left-hand side with the rollout on the quarterback. They need to change up the game, because if they keep playing the way they're doing, I can see more picks coming, and unfortunately that's the last thing that Bristol need at this stage. Mentioned earlier that we keep referring to Bristol as Pride, which is their nickname, which is personal responsibility in developing excellence. Jane Crew not quite knowing what's happening at the end of the quarter. That was what
So
the delay
they
is.
are looking at a 3rd down and about 3rd and 13. The French have taken a timeout.
Which is the 2nd of the half.
Up by 15, timeouts not likely to be an issue for the French team late in the game.
If anything, they want to be running the clock out at this stage, getting home with the win.
And meanwhile, while that timeout's being taken, the Pride are overstretching one of their players on the field, taking advantage of the moment in time.
The referee indicating to France they have 1 timeout remaining.
Defense swarming all over the ball carrier there.
Bristol not fooled by the misdirection this time.
Drops him well behind the line, and so for 4th down, the French punt team will come onto the field. Ball now back to the 45-yard line. So on 4th and 18, not much choice but to punt it.
Yeah, and we have the hokey punt formation. Easier said than done.
Good kick by the French kicker, goes out of bounds.
Excellent place click there, and taking it
So
out
they
inside the 10
mark it
yard.
at the 6. And that is where he's marking it. So an excellent punt there by the French kicker. The much maligned French punting game comes
Yes.
through in a big way right
It did
there.
certainly, and that is exactly what you want to be doing on a punt, because at the end of the day, the American football is a game of field. You want to actually have the ball and you want to have the field. Now the French team are defending a large amount of territory, and their options are greater.
Well, and any kind of mistake in this end of the field for Bristol easily results in points for the French.
Absolutely.
Handoff, and nowhere to go.
And because of that
Maybe a yard.
danger, the Bristol team have to be very cautious on their play calling at this particular area, and they don't want any loose balls that can be recovered and run straight in for a touchdown. As a result, they're just trying to clear some space often so that they can actually have a punt from a reasonable position.
Step back to pass.
It's going
Lofts
long
it up. And it is caught.
and dropped out of bounds, but whether or not that could be
The
seen,
official
I don't think the
ruled it a
official can
catch.
see what happened there. As far as he's concerned, the player had the ball when he went out of bounds, but the
We
player
did
actually lost the ball when he came up.
It happened right in front of us.
They've
We
ruled
saw it,
correctly.
and the other official has overruled him, called it an incomplete pass. That is the correct call, but now you've got a question of the chain gang has already moved all the way down the field.
They have the fortune that they have a clip on the chain which is set at a particular line on the field, and as long as they haven't moved that clip already, which I doubt, then they'll be able to go straight back, put the clip in the position that it was on, and the chain will be in the right area. And that is why the clip is actually put onto it. And in the NFL and in higher levels of college, they actually have two clips. So when you see the games at Wembley that are run for the NFL, you have one clip in its old position, you put it down with the clip in its new position, and only when the next players run do you actually then pick out the first clip. Make sure that things like that can come back safely to the right position.
They have gone back down and they have set the chains up at the line of scrimmage, which really should have been set back up a yard earlier than that because there had been a play run. There we go. Now the line of scrimmage marker has moved. So
Yeah, the down box, as it's known, which is indicating first, second, third down, is what was in the wrong position, and therefore that's where the next play should start from. The chains themselves are in the right position.
that one intercepted. Defender just turned around, had it right in his face. Makes the interception.
Chasing the play again, as we said, and that's going to be the downfall of the Bristol team at the moment, is they're trying to score too much because they're running out of time, and that's the sort of mistake that can happen easily. And the game runs away from you, unfortunately, when it happens like that. So France now in a very good position, on the 20 going in with the first down. 30 minutes 22 in the fourth quarter remaining.
You're talking about the down box. Down box does feel like a relatively simple thing to run. I happened to be at that football game between Colorado and Missouri back in 1991 where Colorado won the game on 5th down, went on to win the national championship. So not all is as it seems when you
It's not an easy
watch
thing.
how effortlessly they change those downs.
Yeah, I ran the down box for the game at Wembley between Washington and Cincinnati October last year, and I can tell you that it's not an easy position. You have to keep writing on the box itself the relative position, so 1st and 10 at the whatever yard line, so that again it's another way of coming back to the right position if there's ever a mess, and also a way of checking that you're not actually having too many downs, which is in 4 down situations a 5th extra is a very big difference, and last thing any crew wants. That Washington game in Cincinnati went to overtime, and I'd allowed enough space on my pole to write all the various different positions down, and then towards the end of the fourth quarter I'm suddenly needing to find some extra space. Made for an interesting day.
3rd and 5, and the French team will use their final timeout. So they are now out of timeouts.
Try and get a time check for you. And looks like about 12 minutes to go. One of the things that's important in the growth of American football is we talked about the growth in the teams. We also need to have the growth in the officials to support and coaches to support. So if anybody's looking at this thinking, well, I'm too old to play or not fit enough to play, then there's still a role for you in officiating. So if you're interested, get in touch.
Well, as somebody who's worked with a number of the different teams over here, I can tell you that team managers, all kinds of support staff are so needed.
Yeah,
to make sure these
statisticians, you
teams
name
run
it. There is a
smoothly.
role in every club for you, no matter your age, your gender.
Schaefer going to be dragged down a little late, but defender did a nice job of letting go of him, so no flag is thrown.
Yeah, contact started inbounds, just finishing off, holding on to him. I think a good call, no call there.
4th and 5. Schaefer lofts it over the and wide
Receiver
receiver
lost
just
in the
could
lights
not
there.
find it.
He had the man beat. Unfortunately, he couldn't see the ball.
So turnover on downs, goes back to Bristol. But the French team successfully runs off some more time. Right now the clock is their friend. Trailing by 15, 21-6.
And 11 minutes 30 in the half remaining.
And now Bristol's going to call a timeout. And that is not typically how your coach likes to use timeouts right after a change of possession, especially in a game you trail by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's a very costly way to use a timeout because that's just disorganized, and that's the last thing you need, because later in the game, if they were to get a comeback, then they will need those timeouts to try and stop France running away with the clock.
Well, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that feels like an Andy Reid timeout to me.
Yes.
Not known as one of the league's best clock managers.
It's a great art. It's managing the clock, and if you can do it well, some of the teams that can come back, when they're like Green Bay, when they're down and very little time to go, you can manage that clock well and score. Quarterback recovering his own fumble there, or his own handoff to the back.
Well, my favorite quote from that Packers-Cowboys game was when it was like 31 seconds for left, and Aaron Rodgers said, "You left me too much time."
Yes, he is the manager, ultimate manager. He came up in the shadow of Favre, but he's looking like he's going to surpass him.
Running back tripped up in the backfield. Might have fallen forward back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 7.
In answer to the question, yes, one of the commentators is from Kansas City.
I'm a longtime Chiefs fan, so it means I'm a longtime sufferer. Nearly intercepted.
The defensive back holding his head. He knows he had not only in the interception, but a very good opportunity of scoring from the 33-yard line going in.
It does make it easy to identify which defensive back should have had the interception.
Yes.
So 4th down, and Bristol's punt team is on.
Adele Buffdeal back to receive the punt.
High short kick. It's going to go out of bounds here on the French sideline. They will mark it out at the 33-yard line. So a very short field for the French offense. Already up by 15, a touchdown here. Would probably salt this game away here in the fourth quarter.
We have one of the Bristol players down, stretching out a muscle.
He was the one that was being stretched out by his teammates earlier.
There's a player from Holland, actually. Jasper Juma.
Schaefer left the football on the field. Now we got flags and whistles and
A false start.
so push back the French offense 5 yards, give them a second down and 15, or a first and 15.
An unusual injury report. We have Bristol's Aid Daniel, tight end, with an ice pack on his cheek. I daren't think which one.
And Schaefer's a little too strong with that one. Throws it right over his running back's head.
And another injury report, this time from the French side. Defensive back Omar Moumen has his pads off on the sideline, doesn't look like he's returning.
Second down and 15. About the 38-yard line. Hand off for Schaefer. Head of steam for number 34. That's Lenoy Camara.
That's made it a far more manageable situation. So
Gain of
third and
11.
4.
French team taking plenty of time in the huddle. They're in no hurry now.
With the clock running, there's no need for them to be too quick to the line here, with the game really in hand.
Schaefer fakes it. Now he's out to his running back, but
All loose hands for the
dropped.
French.
And another dropped football.
You can certainly see what their drills will be in the next week.
It is not that cold. It is certainly not wet. There's no excuse for this many drop balls on what
No,
would be a relatively pleasant evening for football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly for a February game, you could expect a lot worse weather than what we received.
Good job you're playing in the UK.
Schaefer again rolling to his right. Just a bit too high.
Yeah,
And so on
communication.
fourth down,
Communication there between the quarterback wanted him to go long, but the wide receiver reacted too late, and as a result the play was overthrown.
turnover on down, so Bristol's offense will return to the field down by 15.
With 9 minutes, 10 seconds to remain in the game.
Calvin Stitt remains at quarterback. Gain of a couple of yards.
Yeah, rolled
Nothing
over the
beyond
French
that.
defense there. Yeah, shaken up player number 88.
All kinds of movement along the line of scrimmage.
And the shaken up player is coming out and being replaced. Actually, number 96, not 88. Must get my eyesight checked.
Officials discussing who is guilty of the foul. We're going to get encroachment on the French, so 5 yards against them. Second down and 3. Some good blocks there on the edge, and he's got a first down.
Yeah, well-trained Bristol squad there. Had some blocks on the edge as described, but they kept the blocks in the right zone for blocking. They could easily, on the blindside block there, have taken somebody's head off in the olden days, but under new regulations need to be very careful there with targeting rules.
Completed pass to number 12, Stephen McCluskey. Gain of 5, second down and 5. So a little offensive life here for Bristol late in the game. Right tackle, however, a little too anxious on that one. So that'll be 5 yards marked off against Bristol.
Should be, but I think they're discussing it. Indeed it is. About 8 minutes remaining in the quarter.
That's number 99 in the backfield with Stitt. Now, on my roster, he's listed as a linebacker. That's Leon Klosevich.
Yeah, I expect the Bristol team now to start running in some of their deeper players with the game really away from them and trying to give them some opportunity on the field against a good opposition.
The give is to Klosevich and pushes his way forward for a gain of 3. Fourth down and a long 3 coming up now. And
yes, player not used to that position.
When he's on
Making
defense, he can move all he
mistake.
wants,
Yes.
but on offense, not so much.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was probably going to be a running play with him being involved, but as he was running from the backfield, he could have gone into motion from that position, but I suspect he was intrinsic to what was going to happen next and realised it straight away. Yeah, Bristol.
Calvin Stitt splits out wide for as a wide receiver, and a quick punt from Bristol.
Lots of whistles and action after
Here
the
comes
play.
some flags. Oh, you hate to see that happen. It's been a relatively clean
Yeah,
game.
it's been a very good game so far, so I don't want to see that deteriorating now. I saw the player go, but I didn't see what caused it. And that's what the referees now need to determine. What did each of them see? And a personal foul against Bristol being called.
So following the punt, they'll tack on 15 yards. That moves the ball to the 49-yard line. That's where the French team takes over.
First and 10.
And Barrero, the quarterback that leads out the French offense. And running back slips down in the backfield.
Again, the surface isn't to blame here. It's a lovely evening, and it's been dry all day, so it's just a loss of footing.
Now the game is now almost 3 hours old. Guys are getting a little sloppy.
Yeah.
It happens when you're talking about 30-year professionals. These are, of course, teenagers. So
Yeah, absolutely. Under 19s, it needs to be remembered. You know, they're playing at a fairly high standard, really, and although they're being beaten by the French, they should hold their heads up high, because the French team have a couple of years over and a large number of pounds over quite a few of the players.
third and 9 coming up for the French. In no hurry, the clock is on their side. Although they are out of timeout, so no way for them to prevent a delay of game either if they get down to play clock. And you can see the official checking his watch. Barrero cannot get away from that last defender. Big sack, huge loss on the play. So fourth down and very long coming up, and the French will punt it away.
So Birkinshaw waiting on the left side for the punt towards the sideline.
And not a single punt has gone toward the middle of the field. Every single punt here along the right sideline, and this one no different. It takes a good bounce for the French team and down inside the 15-yard line. So the French punter, his second excellent punt here in the fourth quarter.
Yes, he's fooled them, lulled them into false sense of security with his earlier punts, and he's now actually starting to get his game into gear. Still punting down the side, but this time dropping it between the guy waiting on the sideline and the one in the middle. Both of them not sure who's going to take the ball, and ends up running another 10-15 yards further downfield. This is where communication really needs to come into play. They need to talk to each other and decide who's got that ball and try and return it.
Stitt kind of scrambling, looking to find a space. Nearly intercepted. He does extend the play back there with those quick feet, but nothing doing on that.
4 minutes 13 and running in the game. Sorry, not running. Clock is stopped because it was an incomplete pass.
Calvin Stitt.
Miscommunication there.
Yep. Wide receiver going one direction, the ball going the other direction. So 3rd and 10 coming up. Stitt calling the play. He's going to keep it himself. He's got a little space. He's got the first down. And
he had the first down if he
might
kept
have
going,
given
but
it
it was
they are
little.
going to mark him at the 24. That is going to be a first down by the length of the football. waiting for the chains to move. And once they do, they'll blow the play alive. Some space again. Running over people. He's got
he's still going down
all
the
kinds of
sideline.
space now. Down the
not
near
going to stop him
sideline.
now, I don't think. Oh, call me a liar.
So some good speed by the French defender prevents a touchdown, but a huge gain for Bristol.
He
Down
ran
inside
over that
the
defender
20.
very well. Got his shoulder pads low.
By far and away the biggest offensive play of the night for Bristol. We are in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, but a quick touchdown here, 2-point conversion, and all of a sudden we're inside of a touchdown. Now play is being whistled dead. And Bristol called a timeout.
There's a lot of confusion. The quarterback was certainly not looking comfortable out there then, so I don't think they had the right personnel out there for him. About 3 minutes to go in the half.
Well, an important place on the field right now, and important possibilities here for the Bristol offense to try to get into the end zone here. And so obviously you want to settle everything down and make sure you do the right play and not try to rush something. So the timeout, not the worst one.
No, it's not the worst thing that could have happened here, certainly with the clock running as well. Bristol need to start regrouping, not just for this game, but they've got some important games coming up. They've got a match against the Canadians in March, and then an American Stars and Stripes All-Stars team in April.
Well, even if 15 points proves to be too much of a margin at this point, a nice strong finish goes a long way towards making those future games easier and easier to prepare for and easier to get up for.
Yeah, you need to take some positives from every game, even ones that are defeats.
Nothing happening on the first down play. Second down. Stitt breaks a tackle, makes another move, makes it to the sideline,
Very
just
close.
short of the end zone. He does have a first down. It's going to be first and goal.
Looks like about the 1 yard line.
It's been since the first quarter since Bristol scored. Quick pass. He's got his man, and it is a touchdown. (21-12). Now here comes 2-point conversion.
Just what Bristol needed at this stage, really, to pick them up, even if they come away with a defeat here.
Well, it's certainly a good feel-good drive here to close things out. 2-point play is
No good.
incomplete. So the margin stays 9. So obviously they're still 2 possessions behind.
Yeah, time is now their enemy, because we were getting very close to the 2-minute warning, and Bristol have only 1 timeout remaining, and stopping the clock will be difficult unless they can keep France off the field at the end of this series that they're going to get. They really need a 3 and out quickly to stand any chance of having another score and getting close to tying the game.
So the French team obviously expecting an onside kick. Kickoff must go 10 yards, and at that point, it's anybody's ball. Bristol cannot touch the ball until it goes 10 yards. Of course, the French players can recover it at whatever distance. The two teams facing the wrong direction.
That's not something you see very often.
Now they're going to go back and face the correct way they just went. Couldn't pinpoint out what exactly looked wrong about that. I knew something didn't look quite right, but
Yeah. It's usually the end of quarters where that sort of confusion comes. I was wondering whether the referee was in the wrong half, and I was looking at him. He was obviously confused. He was thinking, I need to be down towards the end, and this isn't the end I should be at.
we are at 3 hours now, and I think everybody is a little ready to go home. That was a kind of a short.
Wisely
coach game.
taken to the floor.
The flag comes in, and we're gonna. Looks like it's gonna be against the French sideline. The referee right standing next to the coach is when they threw the flag, and you may say that the coach was on the field. It looked like that the two of them were exchanging a couple of words there. And they are marking it off against the French in sportsmanlike conduct. Not sure if the French coach said something or if he was just standing on the field. Possession still over to the French team, however. They'll have the ball at their own 32-yard line. And still in very, very strong position to come out of here with a win.
Expect to see them running the ball. Confusion on the French team with too many players on the field. They're going to take a timeout.
They don't have any timeouts.
They don't have any
however,
timeouts,
so
therefore they're going to get a flag.
So not the smoothest finish to this right now.
The French team are arguing with the white hat at the moment, arguing their case. Lots of gesticulation going on.
Well, you may be arguing the earlier penalty because obviously you call a timeout that you don't have. There's no argument there. That is a penalty.
Yes, absolutely. I think he's arguing that the confusion of what happened on the change of ends is what threw why he was in the wrong place. The French called for a false start.
Well, that's the procedure
The
penalty.
procedure
That's
for you
the, that's
decide.
the calling a fourth timeout. But at some point, we will get an actual snap that goes here, and the clock will start.
And the clock will run, yes. I'll try and get a time for you on the clock.
All kinds of space now.
Yeah, bad discipline from the Bristol
He's got
team,
one
losing
man to
contain.
beat. He is not going to beat him, but inside the 15-yard line. Big, long play there by the French. That's Adrian Moy on the carry.
Defense there tried to second guessed what was going to happen and guessed very badly. Got caught up inside, and the play came round the outside of him and with no containment there.
Well, commit 2 penalties, then rip off a 70-yard gain. That's one way to do it. French in position now to finish this up on a strong note. Hand off in the middle, all kinds of space, and he is at the goal line, and
no signals yet. Touchdown called by
now
the line
they're
judge
going
on
to
the
say
near
touchdown.
side. And jubilation in the coach's box next to us.
So 27-12, the French will come on for the extra point.
It's starting to drop on the Bristol side now.
French trying to make a last-second substitution here on the extra point.
2 minutes 22 in the half.
The extra point is good. 4 for 4 on the night. 28-12 now in favor of the French Academy. Certainly makes that trip back home a lot easier when
Yes,
you are on
indeed.
the winning side.
Yes, any return journey on the winning side is always a good one.
Still time for the Bristol offense to do something before we say goodnight. Of course, not sure what the French travel plans are, but let's hope that they were not counting on a quick game.
Yes. And injuries and incomplete passes game as a one that's dragging on a little now. 3 hours and 5. TNTZ Luke, you have your shout out you requested.
Taking a while to get the kickoff team on. Back when I played, the coaches absolutely hated it. If you were on the kickoff team, you knew you were on the kickoff team, and you better not be you better not be absent when it's time to be on the field.
Absolutely. The special teams are where a lot of the players who are trying to get onto the starting lineup are playing. And the last thing you need to be doing is making a mess of getting there when that is your only job. You had one job to do and you can't get there on time, or your head's not in the game. Cardinal sin.
So the Pride will begin this possession at their 29-yard line. Final moments here from the Bristol Academy of Sport.
Number 12 on the near side indicating to the quarterback that he's not got a defender over him and he's wide open. Quarterback ignoring him there.
In the middle. Both teams content. And
2-minute warning.
Just now have the 2-minute warning. Based on that play call, I would guess that Bristol is content to just call this one a night. Getting the handoff in the middle. Good solid tackle there by the French.
Well, that will have the clock running, and to be honest, I think Bristol would be welcome at getting the game over with now.
Third down and 13.
Taking one last attempt long.
This pass nowhere close to being in bounds.
Longer than the French bench, that one.
So fourth down, that does sadly stop the clock.
The clock will also stop at the end of this play as well, as they change over possession or get a first down.
Stitt's going to keep it himself. He is
Does
not going
not
to get the
make it.
first down. In fact, he kind of gives himself up and steps out of bounds 2 yards short of the first down. French will take over on downs. And it might be time for victory formation. Every coach's favorite formation.
Indeed. France just taking a knee to run out the clock. French team on the sideline already celebrating the victory.
Not quite clear why they have yet to take the field. There's
Yes, it's not a timeout, as they haven't got any.
no, that
So they should be really getting them off the sideline and into the play.
and they do appear to be just ready to take a knee, and that is what Clement Schaefer does.
And the clock will now be running. And we have little time in the game. And they intend kneeling out the rest as well.
Referee keeping the game clock, making sure the quarterback knows exactly how much time is left, when he needs to take a knee.
Utilize as much time as possible.
And that is the final play of the game. And the final score here from Bristol French Academy 28, Bristol Academy Pride 12.
Indeed, a good result for the French, especially after the game in October where they lost by a score to the Pride. And they were out for revenge, and they played very well. They covered the deep receiving threat, which was the one that got them in trouble in the first half. They snuffed that out, and unfortunately Bristol didn't have anything else to offer that they could actually drum up a decent drive with. They were placed in too many situations where they had a long third down, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. It makes it very difficult.
Well, it was the French defensive line just did a nice job shutting down the running game early on, and even though we saw the Bristol offense have a little bit of success running the football later in the game, by that point the tempo of the game had already been established by the French.
Absolutely, yes. And the weight and the size of the French line was really the difference. They won the trenches battle, and if you win the trenches battle in American football, that's often the way it'll end.
Yes, it's the quarterbacks and running backs are the glamour positions, but games are won and lost by those big linemen in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. This has been a DC production, and this has been the Bristol Academy, and we'd like to thank them for their hospitality today, being very good and the great facilities they have here at the SGS.
Yes, on behalf of everybody here at Double Coverage, I'm Kyle Garlett. He's Roger Goodglove. And,
See you again, guys.
And thank you very much. Bye-bye.
1-2, 1-2.
My wife said. My wife.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we've just finished the game here in Bristol. France have beaten the Pride. I didn't get an opportunity to speak to the French head coach at the end of the game, but you can tell by the atmosphere on the sideline that obviously that they're really thrilled at the fact that they've won the game. Hassan, did you get a chance to speak to them?
Yeah, I had a chance to speak to Coach Harrod at the end. He was obviously very disappointed that they didn't manage to come away with the win, but he was very proud of the second half defensive performance, especially. He said they dealt with many of the problems they had in the first half, and he's more looking forward to the future. He says the EJ looking forward to taking part in future competitions, and he says the team which is constantly improving, and he said he's looking forward to seeing what they can do in the coming months.
Wicked. Okay, I think that's it from us. So thanks everyone for watching.